started a little prematurely. Okay. Yeah, let's check. We live. We're live, guys. We are officially live. All right. Yeah, all right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to BatYard's Finest, bringing you the finest of Batman and Superman and whatever the hell else we want to talk about in pop culture. As always, I am joined with I guess we'll start in order. We'll go with Connor.
Oh yes,
yeah,
me.
so,
I'm here. It's Connor Donovan. Happy to be here.
Matt, take it over.
What? Hey guys, I'm Matt.
Yeah, that's how Matt does podcasting too. He watches movies and he podcasts.
No, well, I'm trying to take a picture for the Instagram, let people know we're live. You know.
All right, that's fair. All right, and the gentleman right below me. Yeah, so I think Robbie's been in a few other BatYard productions. You know, like you could see him in Hudson Valley Comic-Con interviews and a few other things. So, you know, if you don't know, this is the first time Robbie's being on the podcast itself. So, Robbie, thanks for coming on. This is the first time we're having how do you, not a quartet? What's 5?
A quintet.
A quintet. All right. Well, Tony, take it over.
Quintet, yes.
Yep. I'm Tony. So
what's going on? All right, so yeah, this
it's Tony. It's Tony.
So yeah, we tried to do this on separate computers with Connor and I, but luckily we are roommates, so we could fit on one screen. We could fit on one corner of the screen. We're obviously here to talk about the Snyder cut, but before
what else is there?
But before we do that, if there's any like BS, which is bullshit Batman, Superman, or whatever you want to talk about, now is your window to talk about it, and you know, and then we'll move on to the grand opus. So, Connor, you wanna take it away here?
All right. So, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. How many of you guys have seen this now?
I haven't seen it.
Like, no.
I
Oh
haven't.
yeah, so like I guess
I thought it was gonna be on the next one.
All right. Yeah.
No.
So just to give people a brief introduction to the series, the first episode just kind of gives us a sense of these characters who we know better as sidekicks to Steve Rogers. We get a little more depth to them. They get a little bit of that third dimension that they might have been lacking in the MCU films. So we get to know our characters now in the forefront, in the spotlight, as obviously the series will center around them and their conflict. We also get a little taste of the villain. Not much more than was teased in the marketing material. Guy with the handprint on his mask.
Oh, so
Super
Sauron?
strength. Yeah. Bearing the white hand of Sauron.
Is he like a villain that people know, or is he just some rando?
If he is, he's not known to me.
Okay.
I didn't recognize, and it's multiple people. A bunch of people have this mask on, but based on just on the advertising, it seems like they're minions, cronies, experiments of some sort of Zemo, who we might remember from Civil War. He's back. He's got the iconic purple cowl from the comic books. I'm psyched about that. But overall, the first episode, I gotta say, it didn't grab me quite like WandaVision did right off the bat, but it has a stellar ending that sets up a really interesting plot point that I can't wait to see next week.
Yeah, I heard the ending's pretty great. So does it like build off like right after Endgame? Is that where it starts off?
A little bit after. Okay. Just a little bit of time has passed, not much. But and there's a lot of talk about rebuilding after the damage of the blip.
Okay, so does it have 2 episodes, or is it just
the one so far?
Because I know WandaVision had the 2.
Yeah. Right. No, they just did the one this time. which is good. Like I said, I'm glad they did the first 2 episodes of WandaVision like they did, because episode 2 lends a lot of context to what the series is going to be as a whole. Episode 1 is pretty much just like the period piece sitcom, which is a bit misleading. Episode 2, you get a bit of both worlds. You get the screen transition, lets you know what's going on there. But yeah, no, pretty much everything that needs to be said gets said in the first episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And this is where we're at. This is where we're going. Right along.
So I guess you recommend it. So
I do.
I'll check it out at some point. I still have to finish WandaVision. I still haven't
you do.
I gotta get on that, man.
Yeah.
You better.
It's so good.
I don't know why I watch shows pretty weirdly. I did the same thing with Breaking Bad. It took
the
me a
age
while
of
to
on
finish
demand.
it. Yeah.
Well, Breaking Bad's a really long show. So.
It's 5 seasons.
That's acceptable.
It's like the perfect amount of a show, what it should be. I think 5 seasons for really any show is like the perfect amount of seasons. Maybe 6.
Oh yeah, but it's like an hour-long episode. So that's understandable. It's going to take you a long time.
That's true. So, you guys have any BS before we get into the grand opus?
Why is Batman's symbol so fat?
Because Ben Affleck is thick, boy.
Dude, it's like this is 2017. You gotta move on.
He's got the juice.
Yeah, he has a thick little bat, but he has like little bat ears too. So it's like kind of like same shape of his physique.
Yeah, no, it just caught me. Well, the first time I saw, I guess it was Batman versus Superman. I was like, wow, that is a chunky bat.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like more reminiscent of the Dark Knight Returns comic book series, well, the graphic novel. It came out in the 80s. It's supposed to be like a more older, roguish Bruce Wayne.
Had a fairly well-recognized animation that came out around, was that
2011 or something. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty faithful. A lot of adaptations aren't as good, but I would say that one's pretty close to being on par to comic book itself.
And people like it.
Yeah. So Matt, since you're looking at your phone, you want to do the synopsis of the fucking Snyder cut?
I'm still putting the post out, my friend.
Yeah, Matt, what the hell?
I'm listening. What do you want me to do? I'm trying to make a good post.
Okay.
So eat it.
So you passing the baton of doing the synopsis of the Snyder cut? Is that what you're doing?
I want to give it to Tony. He's right below me.
I don't want to.
How's it going down there?
I think Matt should do it.
Not right now.
Oh wait. Oh no.
Yeah, because the website we're doing to stream this has
it's like
mirrored screens.
Yeah, that is true. I'm like pointing at Connor when I'm pointing.
It's
at
like
Matt.
it's like a selfie.
It's
But very well, I'll bite the bullet. I'll talk about the Snyder cut.
And then Matt takes it.
So, tragically, Zack Snyder took time off the Justice League project when he had a death in the family. He wanted to take time to be with them and deal with that tragedy. That's when Josh Whedon came on and made what many would argue to be a more marketable film that went to the theaters and was received so-so.
Yeah, just like a moderate.
Yeah, the reactions were mixed. Some people liked it. Some people felt other ways about it. Cut to 2021, age of streaming. Streaming movies has never been more popular, and it's become a safer alternative. Yeah, and platforms like HBO Max, Disney Plus are taking full advantage. I'd say this movie came out pretty much at the perfect time. This recutting came out at the perfect time. Because 4 hours is a really long time to sit in the theaters.
Yeah, 4 hours.
Yeah.
Not so long to sit in your living room, though.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was supposed to be 4 hours when I started watching it. I'm like, oh, shit. I
I know.
Get ready for this.
Yeah.
God, boy.
Why do you think I suggested we do a Saturday show? It was supposed to be Friday, But knowing our schedules, I made sure we did it Saturday.
And then we're still late. That was my fault, by the way, because I was still watching it today, trying to finish it. So
damn epilogue.
It's very long.
Yeah.
It's a very long.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost like a mini series. It was. They were originally thinking about making it a mini series, and now it's just like a big long movie, sectioned off into parts. I would recommend 100% watching this in the parts. Like when it says part 2, stop. Come back to it.
Yep.
Maybe the next day. I would like kind of do a slow burn throughout the week. I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more if I did it that way instead of kind of chunking it out like in big hunks. But I enjoyed it a lot more than I was expecting. I mean, I had pretty low expectations just because I wasn't really a fan of the whole Snyderverse in general. I had like parts that I liked, like aspects like the cinematography is always amazing. Zack Snyder really knows how to shoot. Just the storytelling elements I was not really a fan of, especially with Batman vs Superman. And how this movie opened with Batman vs Superman and Superman dying, I was like, oh, fuck, I don't want to watch this. I really don't want to watch it. But it slowly won me over. But I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more if I kind of sectioned it off in little bite-sized pieces. So, Robbie, I know, so since this is your first time on the BatYard's Finest, what were your initial thoughts of the Snyder Cut?
So I like you said, similar to you, I did enjoy it a lot. I think a lot of the missing elements from the previous film were kind of explained in this one because Snyder added a lot more scenes and kind of explained a little bit more. Like one example is how did Lois Lane get to the Superman site when he resurrected so quickly? And it turns out she was already there. There's kind of like small details that Snyder kind of put in to help make the flow of the story a little bit easier to follow.
Yeah, it kind of connected the pieces a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean there are some things that I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of much.
Yeah,
and we can dive deeper into that later. But overall, I did enjoy it. You just if you want to watch it like one time only, you got to hunker down and realize, whew, it's a lot. It's a lot to, especially especially coming off of the first film where you don't even really see Darkseid whatsoever.
Yeah, now they might mention him like one time.
No, he's basically deleted.
Yeah,
that whole movie.
Yeah, he's pretty much not even there in the previous film, but in the Snyder Cut, he plays a much bigger role that people kind of wanted to see from the old film.
So Tony, what are your initial thoughts before we get into dive into spoilers?
I liked it a lot, and I was really surprised by that because I like you, I wasn't super into the Snyderverse. I really liked Watchmen. That was one of my favorite movies. So I was I've seen a Snyder movie that I've loved, and then this came, and I was I wasn't expecting much, but I really liked it a lot, and I was kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, I remember we saw the original Justice League in theaters together, and that's that's really the only memory I have of that. It's just
yeah.
So it's not a very memorable movie, but it kind of seemed like a Saturday morning cartoon, at least the Joss Whedon version. It was just kind of like Saturday morning cartoon. It was just in and out very quick, and not a lot of substance to it, but it didn't do too much harm either watching it. Besides having a creepy Grinch smile, that was a little.
Oh, don't forget the bat smile. Yeah, Superman's back.
I don't even remember that part.
I will never unsee Batman. Batfleck's bat smile.
Are you talking about what the Batman Forever?
No,
Batman?
No, it's somehow worse than that.
Val Kilmer's Batman.
No, I'm talking about when Superman shows up in the Whedon cut and says his "I'm a big fan of Justice" line. There's a quick shot of Batman going
no.
Yeah, literally, he's so happy.
So Matt, before we dive into spoilers, initial thoughts.
Oh, initial thoughts. I'm in the same boat as you and Tony. Not a big fan of the universe. The universe is kind of but it's just it's neat seeing that like his cut finally coming out and seeing what his picture would have been.
Mm.
But the thing is, like, I would liked it if he didn't like. It wasn't 4 hours. If he made it 3 hours, I've been fine. And he chopped away at like a lot of origin story based stuff. You know what I mean?
You mean like if they had individual films to set up the characters?
If they did individual films beforehand, it would have been so much smoother feeling to me. I felt like I just sat there bored a little bit more. Like, all right, now I have to get introduced to this character that could just have more movie just been sped up to me, other than like experience this part with what's it called, the Flash part. I really didn't need that part.
I thought
going on.
I thought the stuff when they're introducing the characters was stuff like when I was actually getting more interested in the story. You know, I was like actually like interested in the characters being developed and being introduced like thoroughly, especially Cyborg's character. He actually affected the storyline.
Yeah, a whole lot.
Yeah,
I get the more Cyborg's one now because they didn't explain that much in the original one, but I really do think they should have just made solo movies so we didn't have to cram this into the movie, though.
Well, before
I seen like a mini little scene of like something happening and Batman or Wonder Woman is claiming them as like a member of the team, trying to recruit them. That would have been neat.
Yeah.
But like just giving you an introduction, a mini intro to their world is a little just why to me.
Well, before we take off on that, I thought that was the way they did Cyborg in this movie, specifically the way Zack Snyder expanded on Cyborg in this movie, was a really interesting expounding on the classic character that I don't think has really been done before, like in the modern age, in the digital age. Like
a lot of
they
them
really emphasize Cyborg's power, his computer brain. Cyborg is like a god.
Introduce him and he's just there. He's Cyborg.
But he's like, in the context of this world, the digital world where like entire societies are held up by their digital infrastructure. Cyborg is a god. He claps his hands and, nations fall. And that's really interesting. Like even in, the Teen Titans age during the, the mid to late 2000s, things were slowly becoming more digital. Now it's like every day we're into something new. We're talking about quantum computers these days. Yeah, they never really touch on it. The most you see Cyborg have, like, interfacing with actual real-world technology is he has a cell phone. But, Zack Snyder really, turned the character inside out. And I think explored him in a really modern and interesting way. So, yeah, I really latched on, same to Josh, I really latched on to, in particular, Cyborg's individual arc.
No, well, in my case, I do agree with you. That one actually gets deserved to be there because he is more of a focus point of the movie than most other characters.
He's the key to the mother box.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So he gets his rightful introduction away. Everyone else can get could have got more.
Yeah, it's I almost wish I watched the original cut just to kind of compare and contrast.
I almost watched that today.
Yeah, beforehand. Obviously I've seen it, but I forgot so much of it. But I gotta say the one thing that I think I enjoyed more in the the first cut that we got was the music. We got Danny Elfman's score. I know he was drawing back on nostalgic berries with the original Batman score from the '89 film in the beginning, but the whole, I hated the music in this. It really drove me nuts. I love the orchestral stuff, but once I heard those freaking women shrieking throughout the whole movie, it just drove me nuts. It was getting under my skin.
That is such a classic Snyder.
Yeah, it's just such a cliche. I understand doing it for one scene for a specific moment. Maybe
I know exactly what
when the Amazonians are shooting the arrow, then it works. It works there. Well, throughout the whole film, for every character, oh my god, you need these freaking sirens.
He loves to put that in every movie. He loves that.
It was so irritating.
Well, how about the slow mo? Everyone had a
another great Snyderism that he loves in this movie too.
That was another cliche. Some of it I actually enjoyed. It didn't bother me nearly as much as the music. The music was
but he used those things a whole lot. I noticed a lot of slow-mo, like you said, Robbie, and I heard a whole lot of vaguely Eastern gibberish vocals.
It was awful. It was like it just like drove me up the wall.
Those Snyder sirens.
But I loved the orchestral stuff actually worked. Like when Superman came back from the dead, all the best parts from the original cut that we got were, filmed with Zack Snyder. So like that scene was one of the best scenes of the Joss Whedon cut that we got. And the music there, the orchestral sounds and everything, that worked for me. In the original cut, we had like the rendition of like a minor key of the original John Williams score, and it just like did not work because that's a heroic, upbeat, Superman like esque. This is supposed to like bring the audience to the film, and once you're using that, it just like it's more confusing than ever because Superman's a bad guy at this point, and you're playing the most iconic theme song of any superhero of all time, and you're playing the Superman theme while he's trying to punch the rest of the Justice League in the face. It just didn't really make any sense at that point.
Yeah, the timing is very off with that stuff.
Yeah, it was really off, and it was just like I guess they had an original composer that Zack Snyder hired, and then they fired him when Joss Whedon came on, and they got Danny Elfman. That's why they kind of pulled the '89 themes and the John Williams themes, or just kind of pull whatever they have in their in their repertoire. Like people like this Batman. Well, let's put the music in. Oh, Danny Elfman did that stuff. He's available. Oh, put him in there. And I think that's what they're really doing.
The jokes that this channel was based on.
Yeah, they're just like panicking the whole time. But other than that, I thought the music was really good. The shrieks throughout the whole thing were really driving me up the wall. I could not stand it. Can you do it again, Connor?
Oh, no.
That was it. That was literally
not really from any one region, but does have microtones of some kind. So
yeah, it sounded a lot like from The Witcher when you complete a quest.
Exactly. That's the Wild Hunt. Right?
It sounded a lot like that.
Some pagan chant.
Yeah, exactly.
He loves those. Those are in so many of his things. Immortals, 300, Justice League.
Yeah. So Tony, what did you think of the Flash? What did you think of his introduction?
Oh, I loved that. Like that scene where he's like applying to like work at the dog. Is it like a grooming shop, or I think it was like
I think so. It's like a
dog walker.
It's like a daycare day.
Yeah, like a kennel or something.
Yeah, something like that. But that whole scene, I loved it a lot. I feel like in the original movie, like he was just like annoying. He kind of just showed up, and he was just annoying, and then he left. And then this one, like I feel like I cared about him a lot more, and I feel like he had much better scenes. I don't know, and that scene was just so visually like amazing that I don't know. I loved it, and it made me like care about the character a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, it was like in the original film, he was like the comic relief, and they really like pounded him with that.
Yeah,
he was definitely the comic relief in this too. He was awkward in both renditions of it, but like they kind of pulled it up to like a higher ante on that version.
They at least fleshed out the other half of his character.
Yeah, he felt like a complete person. Like you understood like his motives. He's trying to get his dad out of jail. But they had that in the other film too, but it wasn't really as fleshed out.
So brief.
Yeah, it was just very brief and just like. You blink and you kind of missed it kind of moment in the original. And,
that's kind of the theme.
Yeah.
You blink and you miss it.
Yeah. That's true. I liked how the Flash, like when you're introduced to the Flash, you kind of see how he perceives time, like when he sees Iris. I think that's supposed to be Iris West. And he sees her. I don't know. I think they met each other before because they keep looking at each other. I don't think it's like love at first sight kind of thing. I mean, it could be. I don't really know. It would be like Matt was saying. It would be nice to have a solo Flash movie that introduced like more of his character basis.
Yep.
But I liked how like time kind of slowed down when you saw Iris for the first for the first time that we know, and how he was perceiving time, and then like he got right back into the job interview, and he kind of like snapped back into the time frame that we run on. So I thought that was pretty interesting. It kind of showed more his perspective on how he perceives time and how fast he moves. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I felt it was very familiar. It might be to other people that it was kind of like the X-Men version of Quicksilver, how he perceived time.
Yeah, it did feel a lot like that. I was also getting another Marvel vibe when like the gods, like I think it was not
Zeus,
Ares. Yeah, when Ares landed the axe upon Darkseid's
should have gone for the head.
I was thinking exactly. I was thinking of Thanos. You should have gone for the head like immediately. But apparently, I guess that was supposed to come out beforehand, so I don't really know the implications of what ripped off.
I mean, hitting someone in the shoulder with a halberd is not the most original shot in the
really not.
genre of sci-fi or fantasy.
So can we talk about that scene for a little bit?
Yeah.
I have like so many questions / things that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So like one example, like one thing is they have all these characters just show up and they don't tell you who they are and what they do or anything. You can assume like Zeus is there because he's shooting lightning.
Right.
And Ares is the guy with the giant axe.
The old gods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is about Ares, they actually CGI'd the actor from Wonder Woman's face on him.
Yeah, so I noticed it was his face. Did they CGI his face?
I rewind it. I'm like, is that for real? It is him when he's younger.
Yeah.
That was about Mandalorian season 2 finale level of CG work there.
Oh, are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm talking about everyone's favorite hallway scene.
Yeah.
And Botoxed Luke.
Yeah. Well, you're not supposed to say it's spoiler.
It's been out for like 3 months.
Yeah. So that was one thing. Another thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way is, it looked like Darkseid was getting his ass handed to him.
Yeah, Darkseid sucked.
Yeah.
And I thought he was so he was getting shot with arrows and everything, and they were like piercing his skin. I was like, that doesn't seem right.
Well, they were god arrows.
I pictured his like skin being like rock solid.
Yeah,
you can't really pierce it.
Yeah. I would expect it to be like as durable as Superman's skin. Maybe even harder because he's made of rock or something. I don't know.
Darkseid.
Yeah,
I believe they didn't even introduce him shooting his laser eyes at all. They just made him go in with a
They showed it like
a weapon.
Yeah, they showed it in one of the premonitions that Batman had, like one of his dream sequences or something with the Omega beams. To be honest, I was like, once Steppenwolf, we're going jumping all over the place. Once Steppenwolf died, and I saw there's 30 minutes left, I'm like, oh fuck, is Darkseid gonna come? Oh god damn it!
I know that was an excellent tease moment and a really smart move.
Yeah,
well, like,
really
but Josh,
show up.
But the thing was, like, with that part, they made,
and now there's so much more movie left to make.
Yeah, it kind of opened it up.
Darkseid is coming.
Yeah, but it's like kind of ripped.
But Josh, like when you said, "Oh shit, Darkseid's gonna happen," like they already made it clear that like Darkseid really doesn't care for Steppenwolf that much.
Oh yeah, so well he's just like one of his minions. Yeah, I mean he doesn't give a fuck about anyone.
I don't think I'm like trying to like, oh, I'm just gonna go through the portal now. Like fuck it.
I did like how Steppenwolf's like face looked more alien-like because in the original version he looked like just an old dude.
Did look pretty human.
Just like a gray old guy
with a weird shark head. But yeah,
those kids are on his lawn.
Right, yeah. Like what was it? That Clint Eastwood movie. Never mind.
Oh, Gran Torino.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, Gran Torino. Yeah.
Well, if we're on the case of Steppenwolf, I kind of liked how like his armor set is different. It's more like molded to him than just as an armor set he has. And his actual head is he actually has horns. Yeah. It doesn't feel like he has a helmet on him at all times. When like going to spoilers, when Superman fights him and cuts his fucking horn off,
yeah,
you
that
see
was
him
neat.
just like, oh shit.
Yeah, I like how he was like profusely like bleeding out of it, like that would actually happen if like you cut a ram's horn off. You know, they would bleed.
Well,
like
with this movie, they really use a lot of gore, like blood splatter.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of blood was in this movie.
Yeah,
When,
it was
like,
rated R.
when they did the Ares cut into Darkseid.
Yeah.
He was bleeding out really bad.
Yeah.
So like they're using a lot of blood throughout this movie.
Yeah, I wanted to go back
Even
to
with the.
Oh wait, go ahead.
What?
Go ahead.
Even with the parademons, when they stabbed them in mid-flight or shot them, you just saw a splatter of blood.
Yeah.
To me, this is like. To me, it's just like I'm a Gears of War fan. This is one giant Gears of War fucking movie. Because every scene, everywhere you go, and you shoot something,
like
they
you
look like
see
the
it
bugs
happening.
in Gears of War. Yeah, I was thinking more of Lord of the Rings, but now
look like the locusts.
yeah,
but they can fly.
Yeah, I was thinking of Lord of the Rings, but once you said Gears of War, they definitely look like
the locust.
Yeah, I definitely got Lord of the Rings vibes at parts of this movie.
Yeah, yeah, especially that fight with like all the gods and Darkseid's army and everything.
No, I'm just saying with all the like gore and stuff is more gore, more like Gears of War and the parademons. But no, the war battle is Lord of the Rings style.
I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny that they teased like the Green Lantern. I mean, they kind of did the other one too, but it was like so brief.
Dirty, man.
He was just like he looked like some monkey alien thing, and then he just like immediately dies.
Well, that's comic book accurate. He looks like one of the original Green Lantern agents from like the Legends of the early days of the Corps.
Oh, I see. It was so he was like at the sector of Earth, the monkey alien.
Conceivably.
Okay. Kind of looked like a monkey.
Yeah, he looked like a shaved baboon.
Combat.
Who looked like what?
He looked like more Baraka, but without the extending teeth, he just had the extended mouth a little bit.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
I don't know what that is.
A monkey goblin.
Oh, okay.
Mortal Kombat. Oh shit.
Oh, I thought you were joking.
Yeah, I was. Definitely didn't have a
I want to go back to the gods. So Zeus looked.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
We all need to get back.
So Zeus looked. I thought Jason Momoa looked more like Zeus than the Zeus in the movie. He didn't look like Zeus at all. He looked like
Zeus
very young.
Like a dude with like a fresh shaven beard and like a nice deal. He's like,
well, the gods were young.
Yeah,
Zeus just looked like a
Hercules or something. Yeah, I was.
Earthly Zeus, when he's just starting off, he just discovers
like how old is Zeus? Like, isn't Zeus like as old as the beginning of time? So like, how can you say he's young?
No, he's not.
No, his father is Kronos. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Who is the father of time? He came conceivably in ages after, but that was before recorded history.
But that wasn't
or
that
so
long
the Greeks
ago
believe.
Because freaking Diana's mom was in it, and she looks exactly the same. She didn't age.
Well, the Themyscians don't age.
Yeah, neither does gods, right?
I think it would have helped if he
do
had.
Do we know that the gods are kind of
So you can kind of identify him like easily.
Yeah, I guess so.
He had the glowing fist of fucking doom.
When I think of Zeus, I think of like a glowing like white beard and everything.
Yep.
But I mean, it's a different interpretation. But
the beard's been done.
I thought he just looked like Hercules or something, or like.
Yeah, that's what I first thought until I saw his arms like glow red, and he shot lightning. I was like, that's not Hercules.
Yeah, and then they killed all the gods in Wonder Woman, so it's like
Ares did.
Yeah, so it's all those stories that you could potentially tell. They kind of just accident off.
Yeah. Well, it's also
why can't we bring that?
That would be a great way to write out. Yeah, it'd be a great way to write out all the Justice League's exploits at that point because, like, oh yeah, the gods just came down.
Yeah, but imagine like freaking Superman like combating Zeus. That would be awesome. Or Shazam. You know, that would be pretty. Yeah. You know, you have so many open-ended stories that you could potentially tell, and then you just axe them all off. So like. Why even have the gods in the story, basically? There's just, like, kind of wasted potential. That's how I feel, by the way. Because, I mean, there's, like, a lot of Wonder Woman comic books where she actually interacts with the gods and, like, in modern eras. And, you know, she actually becomes God of War, like, eventually. Because Ares eventually dies. They're, like, siblings. And there's, like, a lot more family duality with their interactions. And I kind of miss that, but... You know, we don't get that. They're all dead now, so you forget them. They're gone.
Just forget about
them. Don't forget about it, Matt. Matt, stop thinking about it. Stop it. Oh, Matt's dead.
Oh no.
So is there any like moments that like kind of stand out to you, Robbie, that like you know, that were one of your like favorite moments or anything like that?
That's a good question, because as long for as long as the movie was, there's not much I can really say was my favorite.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
it was just a
all
lot.
melded. Yeah,
Yeah.
You just get
it's a
bogged
lot
down.
to internalize. Yeah, I almost wish I like was taking down notes watching this thing.
Yeah,
Felt a little bit
I
like
was-
a homework assignment.
Yeah.
I did like
Good.
later when they go like into the dome when they're about trying to blow up the or separate the mother boxes. I was just thinking like, man, if that one scene turned into a video game, that'd be amazing. One
That
guy
would
could be like
awesome level.
Batman in the Batmobile. You know, some guy could be Superman just tanking, coming in hot.
Yeah,
Do it
doing
Square
like an
Enix.
online game. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
awesome. Like teaming up.
yeah.
That'd be really cool. I could totally see that. It did feel like a video game watching it, like especially that scene because everything was CGI. I mean, a lot of elements, like I said before, all the best elements from the Joss Whedon cut were in this. Another thing I wanted to say that I did like from the Joss Whedon cut that wasn't in this version was that Batman actually kind of challenged Wonder Woman, going like saying to her, "Where were you for all these decades? You're just mourning your dead boyfriend for what, like fucking 50, 60 years. You know,
Right.
what are you doing? You know, at least Superman put himself out there and he was a symbol of hope. You were just, you know, in your basement. I don't know. You know, like it was kind of nice that they actually at least approached that and talked about it in that version. But there was no mention of that in this. But that's just like a minor thing.
In this one, they got rid of the whole one woman challenging Bruce by bringing back Superman. She said, "Why are you bringing him back?" At one point,
Oh yeah,
we shouldn't be really doing this. He's like, "Well, we need him," and then they fucking bring him back.
Yeah,
In a sneaky fucking way, instead of her being, "I'm going to help dig up the
right.
body."
Yeah, she was there. It was like the only one who was actually like against it was Aquaman.
Yeah.
He was just like, "Oh, we shouldn't do this."
That element was still there.
Yeah,
So
so
it was
this
just
is-
somebody
this is-
else playing.
Well, yeah, that like with the character development of introducing new characters like the Flash and Cyborg, that's when I was getting more interested in what was going on. I did also enjoy that the Steppenwolf gathering up the mother boxes were actually a challenge for him. It wasn't like in the other version where he just gets them and then they have to fight him. It was actually like all the Amazon warriors were actually like they put their all into it. And it was like passing the baton, to the highest level, basically.
A very
My
fleshed out
favorite
villain.
one is the Amazonian one, because that one looked like he had so much shit happening to him, and they think they can hurt him with the arrows and everything, but he's really just catching it all in his armor and stuff. That was pretty dope. And I was thinking, and he just kept on. They think they're just getting away or just demolish a whole building on him, because I don't remember them demolishing a whole building on him in the first one when they dropped the cliff.
Oh no, they definitely didn't do the cliff when they all fall into the ocean.
Like I know they dropped the doors, but they never dropped the building on the guy.
I mean,
If
they
you
did
no-
the doors. Yeah.
If you notice, they never dropped the first set of doors that are closest to the box.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I wasn't paying that close attention to it.
Like she was way past that marker, and there was no one there like with a hammer ready to smash it.
Oh.
That's
That's
why
a keen eye. I wouldn't even have noticed that. Yeah.
And I will say that the Amazonian armor did absolutely nothing.
It sucks. Yeah, it's pointless.
Yeah.
Totally pointless.
I don't know.
At least,
I would kind of feel like overwhelmed if some dude with like some horns just dropped out of like a cylinder from the sky wearing like metal armor, and all I had was a bow and arrow.
Well, and plus, like their armor was like freaking Princess Leia's bikini, basically.
red
Like it was
stone,
just like opening up her like their inner organs. Like it was just like no protection
They
whatsoever.
did the Amazons dirty in that way.
Yeah, Yeah. It was at least like in Patty Jenkins' version of the Amazons. They're
The
actually
armor
all,
was
like,
practical.
yeah, it's more practical. They're actually like cover,
Yeah.
their
Right.
vital
It's
organs.
armor.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not useless. But I don't know. I guess you can tell a man directed this movie, but
More of a
It's-
systemic
yeah.
issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
You can see the elements.
they're nice to look at, but it's
Sure.
not very practical.
Save that for the
whatsoever.
Comic-Con.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
No,
the
you're not gonna have to
parademons had guns and just shot through their armor like it was butter.
True.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is not going to end well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there was once they were talking about Superman, I was like, oh, well, obviously I'm a big Superman fan, so I was like getting more invested. I was like, oh shit, now Superman's finally kind of show up, and it was like halfway through the film when they actually literally were starting to talk about him. They didn't really Lois Lane was so pointless. She did one thing. She did one thing. She was the key. She talked to Superman. And then he realized he was Clark Kent, and then that's all she did.
Yeah.
And then throughout the whole beginning of the movie, she's just mourning Superman. And I guess it's good to show that someone cares about this character more than that he's just Superman.
Yeah.
But I felt like she throughout this whole universe, she had really nothing to do. Besides, Man of Steel, she kind of just who he was.
One thing I wanted to bring up was, that first scene where, Martha visits, Lois.
Oh, yeah.
What did that do to the story? I mean, it didn't do much.
He was just hanging out. You heard him at the end. You don't think it was worth his time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, I know how you feel. And then it turns out to be Martian Manhunter. Like, the world needs you, Lois. I think it was the only thing I could think of, she was in her bed basically the whole time. She's like, and then once Martha Kent said, go outside, he's dead. That's when she went outside and said,
that's exactly what she said.
Verbatim, that's the line. Good.
Go outside, he's dead.
But I guess the only correlation I can think of is she went outside and then saw Superman was not dead, and then he said, "Oh, you're Clark Kent," and then he was like, "Oh yeah, I am," and then that's how it affected the story because she went outside.
I don't know, but the thing is, with that scene, the scene when she's going through her drawer, they show a pregnancy test. Yes. So I think they're trying.
That was a fun tease. I noticed that too.
I
noticed that too.
Pregnant. She's been off duty. She's been just don't know what to do with her fucking self. She's pregnant with a child, probably.
I didn't even fucking.
She hasn't done the test yet.
They did that.
So
in
she could have a super baby.
Yeah.
They already did that in Superman Returns, and it sucked. It was terrible.
That's not fair. Yeah.
What, that movie?
Yeah. Well, yeah. To compare that to that movie, everything about that movie.
Is that when the kid pushed the piano at some thugs?
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah. That was something. Something happened in that movie. That was the most action that happened in that movie. Yeah. I want to say between if Superman Returns and Man of Steel got married and had a kid, that would have been the best. That would have been a perfect Superman movie. But they kind of fall on
giant island
of Superman Returns. He's mopey and super emo, and he doesn't really do. There's not a lot of action in that movie, right? He picks up an island, a kryptonite island, and he should have died, and it doesn't make any sense. And then in Man of Steel, it's way too much action. It's he's just fucking. He destroys Smallville and he destroys Metropolis, and he doesn't really seem like he cares. So if you kind of marry those two, there's something there. There's a nice in between. So you once you kind of swing on the far side of the far side of the pendulum, it doesn't really work. But you got to go right. You got to kind of hit the middle ground with Superman.
He should have died, and he should have cared.
Yeah, he should have cared. Exactly.
Died and he should have.
He kind of dies. I don't know.
Kind of dies.
He kind of dies in Superman Returns, and then he has a kid. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other discussion.
Whole other podcast.
Right to the freaking Mallrats explaining it. how he cannot have a kid. No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want to.
I mean, Kevin Smith
that.
didn't write
I'm
the
just
movie.
joking.
Yeah.
He wrote Mallrats, but he didn't write the
Joking.
series.
We already did this once.
I know.
don't have
I
to
already
do it
explained that. I don't want to explain it again. I did like Jeremy Irons.
It's Alfred?
Yeah, his
Yeah.
interpretation of Alfred. He felt like a very warm presence throughout the film, and I did enjoy that. He seemed like he was like on an equilibrium with Bruce Wayne's Batman. Like I liked how Bruce Wayne towards the end of the film, he's like, "Oh, I work for Alfred," you know.
Yeah.
And everyone's cool,
I
Alfred.
thought I heard that wrong.
So yeah, it made Alfred like an equal partnership. It seemed like at that point.
Yeah, I kind of liked how they added Alfred more to this movie than they did with the original cut. Because Alfred wasn't really in it that much.
Yeah.
Our intro to
It's
Alfred
really-
is really good when he has that back and forth on the tarmac when they're taking off from Nova Scotia or wherever they were.
Oh, like in the beginning.
You know, the runway. Sorry, I've been watching a lot of BBC.
Oh, I got you. Okay. I'm trying to. Wait, when was that?
Yeah, that's just after Arthur Curry tells Bruce Wayne to fuck off. Then he goes back to the ship. Remember? Or the ship's the
time.
That was right. Yeah, that's right in the beginning.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's he has that snarky back and forth with Bruce.
Yeah,
I don't suppose
almost
you'll
forgot
actually
about that.
eat my food this time, innit? Or however he talks.
I thought that
I
scene
almost
was
forgot about that.
the scene before that though. I thought it was kind of strange because Bruce Wayne shows up to that town. Literally everyone's just outside looking at him walking into the building.
Also, he pays off people with American dollars.
Yeah. Oh, and what was weird is when Aquaman just starts walking in the water and takes his sweater off, the women just start showing him.
That was for thumbnails.
I
That was to sell the
thought that
ads
was
on
weird
YouTube.
too because
singing.
he would not want to freaking litter in the ocean. He would keep his sweater on and not let those fish suffocate on that sweater that he just threw right into the bottom of the
They
ocean.
picked up the sweater. Remember, they picked up the sweater afterward.
Oh yeah, that girl.
Oh,
yeah,
the
that's
girl
singing.
fixed
Yes,
the
that's what you're
fan.
talking about.
Jesus.
I'm sorry. That's the Matt. Yeah, explain the singing. Part.
The singing part is horrible. It's just screeching, like high-pitched noises. And there's one girl that has to be better than the fucking other one in the background.
Girl, yeah.
And she's high-pitching it over everyone. Meanwhile, the one that's like the main girl with the sweater isn't even trying to do anything. She's trying to just soak in the sweater. But she's not.
Yeah, they got really excited over that sweater.
But you know what that was, though?
The sweater and just started like smelling it. As you
Yeah.
walked away, I was like,
soaking it in.
They got
Yeah, I was
really
Soaking it in.
I was like,
That's a song.
why?
That's a song about like the gods of the sea. That's a Viking song. So they're like looking at him like this divine figure.
Oh, see, I wouldn't even known that. So
I
that's
looked
good.
it up.
That's good to know. Because they kind of just like all go into song. I was assuming it was kind of like something to do with some like god celebration or something, but it was just it was just kind of out of nowhere.
I thought it was pretty badass.
Singing when
I
I
like
go
the hell
into
out of that.
I like that singing a lot better than those freaking screeching.
Yeah.
I like that a million times better than that. That was terrible. Yeah. So, I would take that all day versus, Connor, can you?
Okay, if you could leave the one girl that was going higher pitch than everyone else, I'd be happy with that song.
it's like in Lord of the Rings.
It's called harmony. Every song does that.
It did kind of feel out of place. I do kind of agree.
I mean, in fairness, all the music in that movie is all over the place.
It
You got
did,
AC/DC,
yeah.
orchestral Danny Elfman stuff,
Well,
Viking spirituals.
They had a lot of. What was it? There was another song that felt way out of place. It was some pop song. I don't remember. Oh, it's like Aquaman, like drinking his whiskey, and it was the sweater song.
I remember that.
The sweater
Yeah.
song. When SpongeBob was singing the striped sweater song, and he jumped into the ocean. You remember that?
That's true. That introduces SpongeBob to the DCEU.
Yeah.
Perfect strategy.
And then Mermaid Man comes.
You mean Willem Dafoe?
William Dafoe.
Nice.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to do that.
But back to-
Every time I saw William Dafoe, I was just like laughing, like with his long hair.
He does look like a man who spent too much time.
Reminded me of Schmeagol for some reason.
Yeah, exactly. Shriveled.
Schmeagol.
Surprising, almost Smeagol looking motherfucker.
And I was like, oh yeah, this movie's supposed to take place before Aquaman, so I was like trying to like figure out the timeline.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that makes things make a little bit more sense for me. I kind of forgot about that.
What? So what did you think was happening? Like, oh yeah,
I don't know. I just didn't pay attention to Aquaman at all.
Yeah,
a lot of people did that.
He's like actually in this movie, he's been one of my favorite characters. Like for some just being because he's just dumb and just running around. He's like the part when he has to fight at the end when he's just like trying to catch up to everybody because
he's
he can't fucking do
He's a
anything.
heavy hitter.
Yeah,
makes it laugh.
Yeah, I was like,
so everyone has to pick him up and throw him somewhere.
Yeah, that's true.
My man.
Yeah. I was like, oh no, is he not going to say that? Is that in the Josh Whedon cut? And then he does say it. And I was like, oh, good.
Everything's going to be okay.
And he does ride a paradeemon down into the building again and like sail. But Batman almost fucking hits him. I didn't notice that one in the first one. So he just like...
You know, like Aquaman said that, but Cyborg never said his catchphrase.
Wait, what's his catchphrase?
He always says "booyah."
Oh, did he say it in this movie?
No.
He said it in the other one, right? Didn't he say it once?
Oh, in Dark Side War, do you mean?
No, he said it in the Josh.
Oh, did he?
Whedon
I don't remember
cut.
that part.
I don't remember that.
Doesn't he do it like after he catches Aquaman? He's like, my man. He's like, booyah or something.
No,
something
I think
else.
Well, then that's one thing the Joss Whedon flick did right that Zack Snyder did wrong.
Oh, when him and like Superman are laying down together, like after they split it together.
Oh, yeah. They're like, I wish I died. The one Superman said that. And
that's one thing I kind of missed too in that one.
Superman smiled in that version, even though it was very creepy. It made me feel happy that Superman was actually smiling.
With his like weird octopus lips.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is
yeah, that's it, Robbie. You got it.
He did. He did look.
Just let the man smile.
We got CGI my mustache.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though, and at least in this version, they didn't have that pointless Russian family throughout the whole film. Like they were like,
thank you. Yeah,
they're just like so pointless, and
they didn't evac fast enough.
The only part I liked about the other cut was Superman actually saved people. You know, he carried a whole building full of people. I enjoyed that part. It was pretty cheesy and stupid, but like superheroes are cheesy and stupid. So it's like, you know,
he saves the day. That's his whole thing.
You know, I want a little bit more of that in my Superman.
Less blowing up buildings and more saving people from blowing up buildings.
Right. And making cheesy dad jokes. That's
Where did you train? On a farm?
Yeah.
Love that line.
That's a good line.
And they when they first resurrect Superman, they did a lot more with that scene where they all fight him. They really changed it up there.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that first cut, like Batman got his ass kicked. He did like nothing in that other movie. At least like in this, like he was like kind of driving the team along. And the other one, he just like got thrown around. And he's like, "Oh, I'm bleeding. Oh, I'm fat."
In the original cut, he doesn't have the special gauntlets that can capture laser demons, guns.
Alfred makes him Wonder Woman gauntlets.
Yeah, that was.
So they added that in this one, or it was part of this one. And like Superman burns out one of them.
Yeah. I mean, Superman's got a lot of power.
I got power. That should have been in this movie.
Should have
been screeching.
It would have fit. Yeah, that would have been better than that screeching.
Figure it out. Put it in.
I would have enjoyed it a lot better than that.
No, what they should have done is put "I'm just a girl by no doubt" in there.
They did that in Captain Marvel.
Exactly. They should do that in every movie with a female protagonist from now on.
Definitely not.
So I can relive my glory days of ska.
Yeah. Did you know reggae came before ska?
That's incorrect.
They should have done that song when Wonder Woman was in that building in London.
What? Oh, the girl. Yeah, the screeching was happening through that scene. I was like, oh man, I like this scene, but like this fucking song, this screeching. Oh my god, I can't take it.
Yeah, that's another scene I have an issue with.
What's your issue
about
with
it?
So Wonder Woman, she's fast and everything. She's like catching all the bullets with her bracelets and reflecting everything. And she catches the bomb and jumps up and throws it in the air. So like when all the henchmen are like essentially dead because she punched them into a wall, there's just the one guy left shooting at the crowd, and she's like, "It's impossible." I was like, "Well, look at her. It's Wonder Woman." But instead of like when he reloads his weapon,
you should.
I think
she could have just disabled it and called it a day.
Yes.
But no, she decided to like do this and destroy half the building.
I was thinking the same thing.
I didn't even think of that.
That's some of that famous Snyder gratuitousness.
Yeah, I was like, all right, so.
What if she killed all the hostages when she did that? Like everyone died in that room when she put her gauntlets together. Everyone just died.
Thinking.
She
and somehow just blew out like the windows, like the structure was fine. I was like,
only forward, not backwards.
I gotta say, there's the police officer who's in Metropolis who is by the Superman monument when Lois Lane goes over there and mourns him, and towards when that Superman fight where he gets resurrected again, he's that one lone Metropolis cop. He's the original. Well, not the original. He's one of the original Jimmy Olsens from Superman '78 film starring Christopher Reeve. So I thought that was a nice nod to that.
That was nice.
The nice thing about this, they don't kill off a Jimmy Olsen in this.
Yeah, I'm like, oh well, we kind of have a Jimmy Olsen. I mean, it's not him, but it's one of them.
They don't kill him.
You happy now?
When did they kill Jimmy Olsen?
They killed him in Batman versus Superman.
Oh yeah.
And apparently, the stupid Secret Service guy who was in where were they? Al Qaeda or something? I don't even know where
Al Qaeda's not.
Yeah, yes, it is. It's a whole place. It's everywhere.
Middle East.
Yeah, somewhere in the Middle East. I don't know where they are, but like it's the
it barely matters in the movie.
It doesn't matter at all.
Yeah,
it's that Secret Service guy who has the camera and he's. He has like a microchip in there, like some tracking device, and then they immediately shoot him. And then it's credited in the credits. Oh, Jimmy Olsen, this guy, Jimmy Olsen. So it was just a big. It was just a big fuck you to anyone who's a fan of Superman or Jimmy Olsen. Like, why even do that? You could have just had him as some guy, but you have to credit him as Jimmy Olsen. So like, we know we'll never get an official, ensemble of, the Daily Planet with Jimmy Olsen, Lois, Clark Kent, and Perry White. Jimmy Olsen is non-existent in this universe. But I don't even know what this universe is anymore. Does it even exist anymore?
It's like sets up for sequels that I don't even know if they're coming.
Yeah, are the sequels going to happen?
Man of Steel 2. Man of Steel 2.
We don't even know.
It could be a prequel to Batman versus Superman.
Henry Cavill's going to be back, so there's no.
Well, when Diana tells the story about Darkseid coming in through the past, she said his name is cursed in all universes. It's multiverse time. Yeah. And that's that. And I wanted to touch on this. That's what I think is best about this movie is how much Zack Snyder innovated the superhero genre and subverted our expectations. Because you might say, Mateo, that Flash and Cyborg needed their own standalones before coming into Justice League. That's been done. People are expecting that. That's just cookie cutter making the same thing over and over again. I think, and again, it only worked out so well because this came out in the age of home streaming, home movies, when we're all stuck at home looking to fill the time, that this particular cut could accommodate all their stories and kind of just move us along a little bit quicker. Like, who these people are. Cyborg, Flash. Let's just get on with the story, and maybe we can revisit their solo arcs later as their characters develop in the movies we're seeing now.
They did solo films after this. I think
they did that with Black Panther.
Yeah, exactly.
Black Panther, but they actually did more they established him more and everything in that movie too. They brought more of the past into it.
Yeah, but that came out after whatever he showed up in. What was that movie?
They
Civil
didn't
War.
have to give him a fucking whole thing. They acquired a whole scene revolving around with him with a bunch of other superhero actors.
Yeah, but they set up Cyborg and Flash pretty well in this film.
Oh, excellently, I would say.
They were like the best aspects of the whole.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder treated the side characters.
I never said they
right.
weren't. I just didn't want the stories all up in this movie. It would be so shorter if they weren't in it.
So imagine, like, Snyder Cut was actually released. What the fuck would we even got in theaters? Like, it wouldn't have been this.
There would have needed to be.
It would definitely not have been what we just saw.
No.
Like, would it have been 2 parts? Like what part 1, part 2, Justice League, and then the third one, Darkseid comes? Like, what would it even been? This actually works better for streaming. Like, this whole thing, it's pretty bloated for what it is. But actually, like, I like how it's sectioned off in parts. Like I was saying earlier, I would definitely recommend watching it in those sequential parts and like putting a space in between it. And I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more than watching it in one big chunk, But yeah, what would we have gotten if it was actually?
Yeah, I felt like if they, like you said, did like 2 parts for this movie, it kind of would have been too early for something like that.
Yeah, and then Darkseid comes and it's like, all right, part 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. DC was done like such a shit.
Avengers did it like good, where like part 1 ended with Thanos, winning, and like and that's what drew people to the second one. I was like, all right, what the hell are they going to do to fix this?
How are they going to combat this?
You don't want to do like a second part like in the middle of like the whole story.
Yeah, they did that with Harry Potter, but it was the ending one. They did that with Twilight, and everyone loves that.
But at the end, still, Voldemort, they ended with Voldemort getting the fucking wand and being like, yeah, fuck you all.
Yeah,
and now how the fuck are we getting out of this?
It was still
Endgame, Infinity War Endgame.
Yeah, it was very similar.
Swish and go flick yourself. But that was the other thing, exactly like you said, Robbie. Like Thanos winning in Infinity War drew people to Endgame. Conversely, I think the way that Zack Snyder kind of gave us Darkseid right off the bat, in kind of the same way that he was slowly introduced to us over the course of movies like Guardians or post-credit scenes in Thor and stuff like that. We got little splashes of Thanos. We got pretty sizable splashes of Darkseid throughout this movie. We were introduced to Darkseid. We got to know Darkseid. And then instead of having Darkseid show up in the third act for a CG shit show, Darkseid simply says, "This isn't over," and now you're drawn back because of the loss of Darkseid. Because after all we've learned about Darkseid, how does he respond to a second defeat?
Yeah, that's true. He looks like he's going to come back with a whole lot of vengeance, and especially with those like dream sequences. It's nice that it ties in to those dream sequences that we got in Batman vs Superman, where it made no sense in that context of that film. But once we see this, we're like, now I understand why this bullshit's in this film. That has nothing to do with anything in this own story arc. But like, it was all setting up for the Justice League. But like, as a standalone in Batman vs Superman, it made absolutely no sense. You didn't know what was going on. But so you needed to see this to understand Batman vs Superman.
This is the movie Zack Snyder wanted to make all along.
Yeah. I liked how it was like more lighthearted than I was expecting from a Snyderverse.
There were jokes.
There was jokes. Some of them did not land. And some of them kind of did. I liked that he fed the dogs. The Flash, he gave him a hot dog.
That
was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. I don't know if that was funny, but. I smiled.
Yeah.
But going back to your point, Connor, is that the reason why it works so well is that pivotal scene at the very end when they chop off Steppenwolf's head and it goes right to Darkseid. That's where you see like the portal open up. You see him and his 2 minions, who I don't know who they are, but and then the portal closes, and that's what like drew people. That's what's going to draw people to like future films. Is that
it was what Darkseid said when the Justice League wasn't listening.
I think if this was like originally released, like say they did 2 parts or whatever, the whole thing was released, or at least a piece of it, I think it definitely would have had more of an audience, like a higher audience rating,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
a higher critic rating.
This
And
wasn't
actually,
super marketable.
it felt like it was
Yeah.
setting up a lot more than what we got with Justice League. Justice League, the other Justice League, it just felt like, some kid smashing action figures together, and now it's the movie. This at least, felt like there's stakes and there's a story, and there's a lot of conflict between like individual characters, and you understood what was going on within each character. And with the other one we got, it was just like complete. It was almost like a complete farce. Everyone made fun of it. Fucking Superman was asked if he fought a hippo. Like, who gives a fuck? Who cares if Superman fights a hippo? But with this, it felt like there was at least connecting to Batman vs Superman, like I was saying, like with the dream sequences, and it was nice that there was at least a little bit of a callback. And once like the Flash kind of broke his rules about the Speed Force, he turned back time. Mm-hmm. He danced with Cher, and he turned back time.
Make that show.
He turned back time, and like it was kind of cool. Like everyone fucking died. You're like, holy shit, what's happening?
It's too late.
And then he's like, no, I got to break my rule. And I like how he kind of like. He doesn't really run like a regular runner. He's like sloppy. Swimming. He's like a swimmer. He like swims through time, and I kind of like that.
He's moving
that motion,
friction of time.
Yeah, it's really cool. And also, when he used the Speed Force the first time, he wasn't wearing his like physics suit or his astronaut suit. His fucking shoes like explode, because they can't take that impact of that friction. And Robbie, you would know more about that than I would. That would actually happen.
Being an actual scientist in Star Labs, probably.
But I thought that was pretty cool. I actually really enjoyed that sequence, that introduction to Flash. I think that was one of my favorite parts, actually. That whole,
I agree.
The whole thing, and it like. It slowed down time. Like once you see the woman you love, you're like, ooh, time slows down. And it seemed like another thing too, when Iris was like getting ejected from her convertible. It seemed like she couldn't really process what was going on, obviously, because things are happening so fast. But once you have like a near death experience, like things are kind of going slower, so you can kind of perceive things, what's going on. So it seemed like she actually connected eyes with Barry Allen and actually saw him, and she was like during the moment, like when he was actually saving her, and he was really gentle. It wasn't like and then saved her really quick.
I imagine you would have.
Imagine if you're like moving at the speed of light and you're moving like someone's arms, like you don't want to rip them off, So he's just like as gentle as possible, like basically petting like a firstborn like kitten or something. I don't know, but
you have to be really gentle because he's moving so fast, and you get impulsive forces every time you touch something. So if you bring down like the speed at which you're moving something, then the impact is much less.
Yeah, it seemed more accurate. Like that. Well, that's why we have you on, Robbie, because we know you would correct all the
Flash physics lesson.
Yeah,
kids.
All the physics.
Yep. It's all about momentum.
Yeah, I did enjoy that. It seemed like more realistic. I don't know. A lot of this film. It's almost I liked it, but like just like superheroes in general, once you kind of make it hyper realistic, and then you introduce this friggin' Martian Manhunter green face man, and then Cyborg dude, and then it's taking itself too seriously. It almost clashes, and it doesn't really work. But I think this one was lighthearted enough where it actually kind of like the seams kind of fit a little bit more than like the other previous films. Like it was kind of weird seeing the contrast from Batman going like, "Why do you say that name?" to like him being like friends with everyone.
Yeah.
And it was like, "Oh, we need a team." And he's like kind of talking like a regular guy. He's not really talking about like Batman. Like he's in that much distress. He's just kind of like, yeah. You want to join my team?
I heard you're fast.
Yeah.
What's your superpower? I'm rich.
I was surprised
that was a great line.
I was surprised that was a Zack Snyder line. I thought that was all Joss Whedon when I first saw it.
Yeah, then at the end he said, "Oh, I bought the bank." There's another thing they had in the original movie too. So I was like, actually shocked they did that.
Like I said, there's a lot of more jokes and lightheartedness to this than I was initially expecting.
It's not like a typical DC movie where it's like dark visually and storytelling wise. They kind of like.
Well, in this movie,
go ahead.
What are you saying?
No, you go.
I was gonna say, they like you're saying, they did open it up to kind of lighten the mood a little bit more, and and that kind of, to me, that was a good thing, because all these DC movies are like dark and heavy, and it was just nice to see like a change of pace from that.
Yeah, this almost felt like Zack Snyder actually hitting the right stride of like kind of fitting right in between the lines of what this universe should be. Like he kind of stumbled in the first two movies, and then he figured it out in this one, but ultimately this one didn't get released. So until now.
Yeah.
But the one thing about this one, they changed Batman more in this one. Like how he's more like gloomier and all that stuff. He's more like up, and he's like faith. He's like, instead of like doing like all this,
more like Tony
Stark. Believe in this.
Yeah.
It's like just believe in us. Just let's do what we gotta do instead of processing and writing, like making it like to the point where he has to do the calculations. He's just like, whatever fucking happens. We can't do what we can do.
Yeah, exactly. Batman would be way more calculated than that, instead of very casual. Yeah, like we might win. Oh no!
Like when he was walking onto the ship, when they finally got the ship to fly, and they're walking out of his lake house, and he's like, Alfred's like, "You sure?" He's like, "Yeah, have faith, Alfred. Have faith." And he walks backwards into the ship.
that was very Tony Stark. That's like that felt like a very Tony Stark moment.
It did.
That's not Batman.
Way too optimistic.
He felt kind of like more like Batman, like towards the end,
when he was actually in the thick of it.
Yeah, and even when he was talking to Martian Manhunter, he felt more like ruggish, like kind of more cold-hearted, but like at least he's softer than he was previously, but like he still felt like he was Batman at that moment. But like that moment where, like you're saying, he kind of walks backwards, like, oh, I don't know, stuff will happen. I'm Batman. That did not feel like a Batman moment at all.
It's not a Batman thing. Batman would probably just walk on the fucking thing, but be ready to get shit ready for us to Alfred. Just walk in there, or just be on the back comm.
Yeah.
Never have like a thing.
The one other thing I want to talk about was like when Flash like turns back time. I thought that would have been the initial like setup for Flashpoint. Like he kind of goes, he travels back in time, and then that's kind of sets up Flashpoint. But with the version we got, it doesn't really set up really anything. There's nothing to really set up, so you could kind of make whatever you want at that point, which kind of could be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on
multiverse. Who knows what comes next?
Creating, yeah.
Well, I wish that they had that dreams, not the dream scene, but like in the original film where Batman sees like Barry Allen like kind of like coming out of time.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't show that in this film, and I kind of wish they showed that.
Yeah, they showed that in Batman vs Superman. That's where
that
was. It was Batman vs.
Superman. Yeah, that's where you see. That's why
we're mixing two shit movies. I've been noticing this. We're mixing two shit movies into one movie.
Well,
you can compare this movie. So like that's basically how it ran. Like Batman vs Superman into Justice League, the original cut, the original one, and that's just a shit block of 2-4 hours.
Because
I did the same thing. I did the same thing. Jimmy Olsen died in Batman vs Superman. I forgot that happened. I thought he died in the fucking original cut.
Yeah.
When Josh said, "Oh, it's Batman vs Superman," I'm like, "Oh, it was Batman vs Superman."
Yeah, well, like the whole universe is kind of like haphazard. Like especially now, like
over the place now.
What is the universe anymore? Obviously, they're doing like solo movies and stuff, and they're kind of opening up the multiverse. I think that's just. They're just doing that to kind of do patchwork, like, oh, the multiverse, so we can write whatever we want.
Where is Shazam?
Interconnected. Yeah.
Where is he?
Where's Superman's head in Shazam? Exactly.
Another fair question.
But all in all, I enjoyed it. Right now, I'd rate it a 7 out of 10. Maybe in other viewings, I would rate it higher or lower. Right now, it's a 7. I don't know. Do you guys have any final thoughts on the Snyder cut?
I feel like I feel like that. I don't know. I was so impressed that like the tone actually worked. I thought it was gonna be way too dark.
Yeah,
and it was
that's
just
what I
like
was expecting.
it was perfectly right down the middle. Like I didn't care about anything in Justice League because it felt like it happened and it was over, and then like people died and it's like whatever. And like, but here it's like just enough of it, so it's like where there's weight, but it's not like you don't feel like horrible watching it because it's like too dark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you don't feel depressed. After.
That's what I was actually very impressed with. That it was more lighthearted than I was expecting. I thought I was going to feel like dog shit after watching this, and I kind of did just because it was so long. But the story itself and the tone, I thought the tone was actually done pretty brilliantly and pretty well.
Yeah.
Oh, we need to talk about that dream sequence at the end.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't talk about that at all.
Epilogue.
Take it away.
I thought it was a nice dream sequence, but at the same time, how I felt about the Joker part, because the Joker part made me feel like it felt like Batman and Joker were just talking to themselves more than to everybody there.
Yeah.
And I felt like Joker's just dead, but this is what Batman sees him as. Like he's just like been branded to his head to see Joker all the time for some reason now. And like I'm like imagining, because there's part when he's doing the card thing. And at the same time, they did that shitty fucking fuzzy moment with him swinging the card around for no reason. Unless that was my TV.
It was out of focus. Yeah.
So
that's an interesting interpretation. I can't say you're wrong. That's I didn't see it like that, but I actually like where you're going.
It just felt like he was talking to a dead person, and it wasn't talking to everyone else. But then Batman snaps it back like, I'm going to kill you at one point because I made a promise to Harley Quinn when she was dying. And I would
kill you.
So fuck you.
Yeah.
You're gonna die.
But no, I mean, the only thing that kind of goes against that is like Deathstroke acknowledged that Joker was there. He was like, it was a good idea to bring him.
But that was after. That was after it though.
Yeah.
After like all that setup, like when Batman actually says, "I'm going to kill you," like, oh, so this is actually he is real.
Yeah, that's very Arkham Knight kind of like Joker toying with his brain, like his inner monologue. So that's an interesting theory. I can't say you're wrong. I like that.
No, I definitely am wrong because everyone else knows he's fucking there. But in my head, when I was watching that sequence, I thought
they've been teasing Jared Leto too much for that not to be real.
I guess they filmed that after the fact.
More Joker though. I was hoping for more Joker because
the
way everyone was talking about it, like how many shots they were. I thought there was gonna be more like him in a insane asylum and all those other spots, and they just dropped them at the end. Like, why they keep saying like this Jared Leto's Joker is such a major Joker? Like, we haven't seen enough out of him. They keep fucking cutting him.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Tony.
There has to be a problem with him.
I think putting him in the trailer was like really weird because they just like ruined
the trailer.
Yeah, they showed that scene in the trailer, and like that's all the scene was that, and it's like why do that?
Right, Batman or whatever he says. Yeah.
He says we live in a society in the trailer, but he doesn't say it in the movie.
So you expect that to be a big sequential part of the film, but it's literally like at the tail end, and it's a dream sequence. It's like basically shows what can become, in the future.
So I took it differently because I thought that was actually what happens, not just a dream. That is the future that is going to happen.
Yeah. It's a potential future,
Yeah, everything he's projecting to Batman in this way as a dream, but it could be the future.
Yeah, it's like what could become, but we got to see the next movie that might probably not be made. So
for some reason, Zack Snyder is making Batman as the Oracle for these movies. He keeps seeing the future of everything in a way. Or seeing something of the future.
I think it's some connection with Barry Allen. Somehow since he like went back in time in Batman vs Superman.
Lois Lane is the key.
Yeah, that kind of is probably ringing in his head, and I would assume it has to do something with the Speed Force. That's why he keeps seeing kind of what potentially can become, like Frodo in the Fellowship of the Ring, where he sees in the orb, and
the Shire is on fire.
Yeah,
he's at Galadriel's pool.
Yeah, that's what it is.
At Galadriel's pool, he sees things that have passed, things that are happened, and things that have not yet come to pass.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's kind of how I interpreted it, as like what could potentially be, but it hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
I guess they filmed that sequence, at least with Jared Leto's stuff, pretty recently, because he has the long hair. He said, I guess they added some additional scenes to the Zack Snyder cut, so that's why he has the long hair, because he basically refused to get a haircut. Which actually makes sense in that set sequence.
Joker's
in that
not going
setting. It's Armageddon. He doesn't need to look as. He looked like he was dead. He looked like a corpse.
He really did.
Wait, what?
Wait, wouldn't you kind of look tired after trying to figure out shit that's been
but at least the other
people
looked human. He looked like he was fucking
Well, technically, that Joker. If you go the first movie that Joker's introduced is Suicide Squad, and he goes down in a helicopter and blows up. So he looks like
he shows up at the end of the movie.
Well, yeah, but
you're wrong.
I noticed that.
You stole fizzy lifting drinks. You're wrong. But I thought he was actually kind of funny. He wasn't really in it for that long. I enjoyed some of what he was doing. He wasn't in it for a long time to really get much of an opinion from me. Like in Suicide Squad, he really wasn't in the movie at all. But I was kind of enjoying what he was doing. Besides the laugh. The laugh was awful.
That was bad.
Everything else was kind of I was like, yeah, I could totally see the Joker speaking like this, and it actually felt pretty authentic. But the laugh threw me off.
I feel like he was more mature. Instead of I'm a gangster of Gotham, he figured out that he doesn't. Now he found out he has to drop that whole role.
Yeah.
He's not the only thing in this world anymore to himself. He's something else now. He actually learned his lesson.
Yeah.
He has to knock it off.
Yeah, I don't know about all of that, but I would say to a certain extent. I mean, he's just joining ways.
Oh yeah.
With I would assume he's joining ways with Batman just because there's no fun. There's no fun anymore because there's no one to terrorize because the planet is dead. So there's no comedy if no one can really laugh at it, or he can laugh at other people. There's no one there, so you can't really laugh at anyone besides Batman. So I think that's the only reason why he's helping. So he has an audience again.
He kind of felt like defeated, with his words and his posture on the car. He kind of felt a little defeated, and
he learned his fucking lesson from something bad.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was an interesting sequence. I don't know. It's really only time will tell what we're gonna get out of the future prospects of DC universe. I don't even know what we're gonna get.
Yeah.
Well, technically, if they just release a Snyder cut, they can actually pretty much say we can delete the original cut if you want to.
Yeah, I guess.
Because
based on the Snyder,
continue onwards.
Yeah,
they did throw out $70 million to finish it. If they were not nice enough to do that, I would not know. We would get a shit movie coming out in part.
Well, if you get
and
if everyone can make the Snyder cut happen, this was more brought on by the fans. Fans were kind of adamant about releasing the Snyder cut, and this was a call from AT&T, who owns Warner Brothers. So basically, if Warner Brothers, this is basically deciding Warner Brothers saying they're accepting defeat, oh yeah, we fucked up. We'll release a Snyder cut. They were never planning on doing that, but AT&T was like, no, you're doing this. We're going to make money. There's freaking COVID. We can't film anything. This is the only thing we can. We already have this, so let's release it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So it was more of the higher ups, like the company that owns Warner Brothers is mandated the Snyder Cut to actually happen. So if the fans out there who want to see Henry Cavill to be in another Superman movie, you just gotta actually make your voice heard and spread awareness to the higher ups that if they make another movie with Superman as the Henry Cavill Superman, that it will make money. So make all your hashtags about Henry Cavill Superman.
Make your hashtags, your Instagram posts, kids.
Yeah.
The future is yours.
Yeah, exactly. They're all listening, so
get your voice heard like in the beginning when Superman's screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They all heard him dying, so
God, that scream was so stupid.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
That's how they made the siren song.
Yeah, that's how they recorded. Yeah, that's how they recorded the siren song throughout the film. They just auto-tuned Henry Cavill's.
That's all it ever was. Just Zack Snyder
a higher pitch.
putting it enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I hated that. The music sucked. I would have been happier if they put Danny Elfman's score from the previous film. At least I like the orchestral stuff. It felt like it fit this tone better, but just that really got under my skin. I think it bothered me more than a lot of other.
I think it did.
Really bothered me.
Yeah.
But it was like throughout the whole film. Like, just do it once.
Yeah, they did it a whole lot.
It's
like
once,
a noticeable amount.
Right. Yeah. Just do it once, like for one scene, like where it fits, that's fine. I would have forgiven it, But no, not through a whole film. So.
Right.
So you guys have any final thoughts about the Snyder Cut before we close the episode?
So I thought storytelling was a lot better. It was a lot smoother. There were some parts that rubbed me the wrong way and didn't make sense to me. But overall, I did enjoy it. I would give it like a 6.5, 7 out of 10.
Yeah, that's basically where I am with the rating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony, what would you rate the Snyder Cut? What are your final thoughts?
I really liked it. I thought it's way too hard of a movie to ever watch again. So I gotta
So it didn't hit you like Lord of the Rings or any of those?
Yeah.
Not really. I gotta dock some points for that. The one thing about the length that got me was when I realized we were like an hour in and we weren't done like introducing characters. I was like, oh my God. But no, I thought it
3 is only like 45 minutes into the whole thing.
Yeah. But yeah, it was really I really liked it. So I would say like 7.5 probably.
Matt, your thoughts?
My thoughts are like 5 to 6.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You hated the film, and I was like,
I fucking hated it. I literally hate it. I don't want to make myself look like the guy that just gives it a fucking 2.
Yeah.
So I'm being nice and saying 5 to 6.
Oh, really?
Wait,
I wouldn't give it. In my head, I don't like it that much.
What do you?
I said I wasn't gonna be the guy that rated a 2. I didn't say I was gonna give it a 2 as my real thing.
But you thought about it.
I'm giving it a 5 to 6. I was thinking maybe 3 or 4, but whatever.
What did you hate about it? I don't. It's like that's what I'm trying to figure out. What were your major gripes?
Like I explained it, like it's 4 fucking hours. Doesn't make sense for this kind of movie.
Well,
making everybody's introduction so long. The movie sucks. Like the music sucks.
It doesn't say the movie sucks.
The movie sucks. That does.
Oh my God. That's
the
very
CGI
harsh.
is horrible.
I think that's like unnecessarily harsh, but I can't change your opinion.
Like I have a lot of problems with this. Okay, freaking was it Cyborg's fucking CGI? I hated it when he did transformations. I hated it, and when he did flying sequences.
It really bothered me that much. I mean, it doesn't look real, but it's kind of
like it could have been a better design.
Yeah, it's a little too much is going on with his design, and
like,
especially with
Cyborg has always been like
Optimus Prime.
Yeah, they look like
including like Cyborg's always been like almost in a way like he always had like some more human to him than just fucking like robot.
It's pretty
They
cute.
made him in this movie. They made him more dead to the world. I get it. All his people, like his mother passed away. His father doesn't really fucking care about him, but really does, in the background, his father really does love him. But his work just gets overpiled on top of life on him.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. I understand that one. I understand that to the point. But like, it's just like he just like they just made his character more cold, but they brought him back more at the end. In a
he
way.
seemed a lot more humanistic
shit.
when he witnessed his dad dying. Like when I looked in his
Yeah.
eyes and he like saw his dad dying, you could feel that emotion.
Like,
Just, like,
no, I mean like
with his
they
acting.
they brought him back
facial
later. I
expression.
said like literally that part was
That's
later,
the scene I didn't like.
and they
either.
actually they bring him back. They bring for some. I didn't know he can bring back fucking technology after it gets destroyed.
Yeah,
didn't
I
know
was a
it
little
was
bit like, hold
Cyborg.
on now.
It
I
brings
was, like,
back the
fine with
recorder,
it. It
and
didn't
he
bother
plays
me.
back his dad thing. His dad's recording.
That
I was like,
really, yeah.
okay, that's new
That's
thing
so
of
minor.
Cyborg.
It really
Yeah,
didn't
true.
bother
Not worth like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't say that bothered me. I said, okay, I didn't know that part, but like, that was them doing that. You guys saying, oh, it bothered me. I didn't say it bothered me. I just didn't know about that.
Nice.
And like, they kind of brought him back being warm-hearted because he's actually going to go listen to his father for once instead of being a dickhead. He was being in the beginning to his father.
But his dad was being a dick because he didn't see his football game and he was playing really cool slow motion and he missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So like, I didn't see why he needed to die.
Oh, the
Oh,
dad.
there was
Oh,
no
yeah.
need for him to
That
die.
was that was a point I wanted to talk about. Yeah.
There was no need for him to die either.
Like, he could
no
just-
need. He could have
It was
remotely
really-
done it himself.
Yeah.
He could have
that
stepped
was-
outside the
room.
box and just
This
been like,
is-
all right, here you go. Let me heat
That
it up
was
for
stupid.
you.
I forgot
Let me-
about that.
A waste
Let me
of
just put it in the
Cowboy.
microwave real quick.
Fantastic
Yeah.
actor.
Yeah, he was in Terminator and
Yeah,
he
that's
was
right.
in Smallville.
Yeah,
as
man,
well.
that guy really likes his remote trigger deaths, huh?
yeah, that was such a pointless death. This is the universe of dads pointlessly dying, starting with Jonathan Kent dying in a tornado.
Well, not only that, if you notice,
Yes, I agree. What do you mean? No.
And then
if
he
you
reveals
notice,
himself, like, 2 months
Yeah.
later.
I'm sorry.
every character, every like main character, their mom is dead, except for Wonder Woman's.
Oh,
yeah, true.
Doesn't she
right,
die
yeah,
later, I
didn't think
thought?
of that.
Oh,
Well, she's got us a mom.
And they always
No,
brought
her
it up.
mom's alive.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think of that.
about that.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing.
Wow.
That
Well, actually, technically, and this is a spoiler, we do find out that Aquaman's mom is alive.
oh
Well,
right,
she's been
that's-
banished
Well, and
to the land before time.
Superman's Martha is alive.
Oh yeah, so that theory doesn't really cut out. Well,
I
his real
mean,
mom's dead.
his Kryptonian mom's dead.
Why would
so
you
yeah.
say that name?
Yeah.
Thanks, Robbie.
Oh, there was something else I wanted to touch upon. I forget.
Do you know what part of the
Oh.
movie?
No. Connor, what were your thoughts? I'll think about it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no. I thought the Snyder Cut, well, completely impractical. It's a 4-hour art piece. Very niche. But if you're a fan of comic books, if you're a fan of Justice League, it fixes a whole lot of problems in the movie. It fleshes out a whole lot of character arcs. It makes me appreciate it a little bit more, even for its faults. I'm willing to give Justice League the Snyder Cut an 8 out of 10.
Oh,
Oh,
they're going above
high.
and beyond in the
Yeah,
point system.
yeah.
No, that's fair.
It fixed it enough. It
Yeah.
I think if I watch in other
didn't completely fix it, but fixed a lot.
future viewings, I might rate it higher or lower. Really depends.
I had fun.
Yeah. How did you guys feel about it being 4x3?
I barely noticed, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Matt.
Good.
Go complain a little bit more.
I didn't feel like it. I didn't enjoy that either because I felt like I lost fucking view of things.
Yeah.
Go eat a dick.
Oh,
Sorry.
Sorry,
Sorry, I have
there is a
my
reason
own
for that.
opinions
But
of
I
this
really
fucking
want you
thing.
to explain. Go ahead. Keep going.
Wasn't the reason why it was supposed to be IMAX, so they made it
Yeah,
IMAX
yeah,
settings,
that's it.
and they
Yeah,
didn't fucking want to change it?
Yeah.
All right, that's
Oh, it's not for IMAX?
hilariously lame.
Oh,
Well, that's exactly. I mean, that's not. entirely true, but it is true. I mean, it was filmed in IMAX. I guess if they like stretched it out, they would have lost some of the aspect ratio. Like some of the scene would have been cut out.
Oh yeah.
They
So
don't have that.
So that's why I think IMAX screens are just so tall. You know, they're kind of like that's why they're shot like that. It didn't really bother me. Yeah, it felt all right. It wasn't the worst thing. Yeah, I got used to it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I feel like there would have been if they just filmed it in a standard style or like widescreen, we would get more of a picture or what's going on the sides and all that stuff. Because some parts when they're filming, like the beginning with Aquaman, I thought they just chopped half of him off when he was in there because like he does a turn and he's like now he's there. Like okay, fuck. He's got like a quarter of his head and a shoulder piece.
I don't even remember
that one
that.
part.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Pretend.
Okay.
I'll take your word for it. Oh, the one other thing that kind of bothered me was once like Clark Kent, he gets resurrected and he's killing the Justice League basically, and then Lois Lane comes running out from behind the police car, and she's like, Clark, like saying it in front of the military, in front of the police of Metropolis. Like a very famous Pulitzer Prize writer for the Daily Planet is just yelling out Clark. I'm sure they could figure out who Lois Lane is like within like 5 seconds, and then figure out who he is, within the same amount of span of time. So like her just like spouting out his name,
that's a good point.
It doesn't really, it doesn't really make any sense.
Well, in this movie, they're really just throwing out everyone's secret identity because, like, at the end, when Deathstroke, meets with Lex Luthor, he's like, he's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's a good Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh man, yeah, Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor is total dog shit.
Yeah, I do not like it.
I think that's why I hated Batman vs Superman so much because I had to see him the whole time.
Yeah, not a fan.
But like, he's like a farce. He's like a joke character. If they like did it in like more of a style of
Teen Titans Go.
Yeah, they're like making fun of themselves. Yeah, exactly. Like Teen Titans Go, he would have fit fine. But they're trying for such a serious tone. It just does not mesh whatsoever. And to see him again, they should just kill that Lex Luthor and say, and then his dad shows up. He's like, oh, yeah, that was my son, fake Luthor. I'm the real Lex Luthor.
Alex Luthor.
Alex Luthor, Lex. Yeah. But I'm the real Lex. And it's Bryan Cranston. That would have been amazing.
That would have been
be pretty cool, yeah.
Fake Lex died. My son.
It's all good. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, just gonna correct the wrongs. But yeah, that's totally miscast. What's his face? Jesse Eisenberg, Mark Zuckerberg.
Eisenberg, Zuckerberg.
He would have been a great Riddler.
I can see that.
He has that energy.
Yeah, especially with that red hair, that he was showcasing in that movie. The other one, Batman vs Superman.
What about a Mad Hatter? Do you think he'd be a good Mad Hatter?
Yeah, he could have been a Mad Hatter. Yeah, might have been better. Yeah, some weird crazy guy from Arkham. He would have been that. He would have been better as the guy who pretended he was Lex Luthor. He should have been that guy. And that should have been the reveal. He like turned around, he's laughing. He was like, I was Lex Luthor the whole time. It was my dad or whatever. I don't know. Something. Just
what they could have done.
Condiment King.
Yeah, he could have been
an odd choice.
Yeah, that would have been better. I would have anything you choose besides Lex Luthor would have been a perfect fit. He would have been, a better fit. He would have been a better Gorilla Grodd, fuck it.
They could have had him, like, when he's sitting on his yacht, they could have him, like, stand up and, like, walk away and have, like, the real Lex Luthor sit down and talk to...
And Michael Rosenbaum shows up.
Oh, my God, that'd be awesome.
So, before we close the episode, do you guys have any final things you want to say about Snyder Cut before we say goodnight, C's?
I've said my piece.
Don't trust those Amazonians with building your armor.
Yeah.
Don't trust Zack Snyder
unless
with building your
unless you
armor.
want to get stabbed
Yeah.
in the stomach.
Trust Patty Jenkins.
Yeah.
All right, so I should have probably explained this before we went live, but whatever. We have a we have a closing statement that we usually do. After I say my little spiel, Matt says something, and then if you could all say "Becoming Super Friends" one episode at a time, it's going to be very hard to kind of coordinate. But I think we got it. I think we're very in tune enough to get it all in one take. So what do you say, Matt? Superman's pal Matt, and then after
Superman's pal Matt,
so
and then we have to choose which direction we're going.
After Matt says that, that's when Becoming Super Friends one episode at a time. Okay.
I know.
Oh boy.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go after with my spot because I'm Superman's pal Matt. I'm gonna point to Connor. Well, he's this way. To me, so
Just point to Josh.
and then you should go down and then turn. Which way? We had to figure this way out.
It doesn't matter. Just point wherever. All right.
Okay.
All right.
That's gonna be so fucking random, Connor. Wait, which
All
one's
right.
Robin?
3, 2,
Angle.
1. All right. This was Josh from BatYard Productions sending you off up and away until next BatYard's finest episode.
And this is Superman's pal Matt, and yeah.
Becoming Super Friends, one episode at a time.
Yay! I mean, one of you did it. So that's good enough.
Becoming Super Friends. One episode at a time.
There's Rob, there's Tony. We just skipped all their fucking
You
names.
just give them in at all.
We jumped it.
Oh, well, that was good enough. We're
Yeah.
good. We're done now. Guys, thanks for joining us. If you ever want to come on again, definitely, you're always welcome. You know, I think the next. What are we doing next, Matt? Are we doing King Kong versus Godzilla, or is
versus
that
King
after?
Kong. Godzilla versus King Kong.
The new one.
No, King Kong.
The new one.
that's what we're doing next.
Will be, that movie comes out next Thursday.
So we
On
might have to
25th.
do. So we might have to
It'll be
do another
Friday.
Friday or Saturday. Or
It'll be a
something.
Friday or a Saturday.
Yeah. So if you guys want to come on for that, more than welcome.
Oh,
And,
I definitely will. I'm a huge Godzilla fan, so I'd love to come
Oh,
back.
fuck yeah. That'll be awesome. Yeah, fuck yeah. All right. Yeah. And I know, like, you guys are always welcome as well if you want to join us. I know, Tony, we watched the last one together, and we thought that was a complete farce, so that'll be pretty fun to see this
Yeah.
one.
Let's,
It's a Godzilla movie. Don't expect nothing from it than Godzilla monsters fighting.
Yeah, but
Don't
that
expect any
you're right.
storyline.
You're right.
That's all I want. That's all I want. Well, anyway, good night, guys.